Fala pessoal, problemas, beleza? Eu tô aqui no Blue Link, eu tô junto com o st1ckBuG, que é o cara que eu falei que é como se fosse um Black Rush ou Wallace, a comunidade americana de BlazBlue. E a gente tava fazendo uma conversa sobre a cena americana de BlazBlue e a brasileira e ver as comparações e tal. So, can you please introduce yourself first?
My name is Alan. On Dustloop, I'm known as st1ckBuG. I've been running tournaments for about 5 years now in terms of Guilty Gear and BlazBlue and the American scene.
Então, ele falou que ele tá já há uns 5 anos ele fazendo torneios, ele se chama Alan, o verdadeiro nome dele. E ele faz principalmente torneios de Guilty Gear e BlazBlue aqui nos Estados Unidos. So, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Blue Link, my real name is Paulo. I started posting on Dustloop long ago, but I'm Portalverse there in Brazil. I'm an active member there, and I started making tournaments since April from last year. I mostly do tournaments for Street Fighter and Marvel, but my favorite game is BlazBlue, and I try to move the scene out there. So let's start discuss what's the biggest problem with the BlazBlue community in US and those things.
Other people's views on BB or the BB's community? Like the BB's community problem or the fighting game scene problem?
I think mostly fighting game community.
Okay, so the fighting game community as a whole has a very strong following to Capcom games, and only a few actually play air dashing games like BB and GG. So there's a disconnect in terms of numbers, and numbers mean a lot in the US now in terms of money, just payout of tournaments in general, because we're getting about 100, 200 plus for Street Fighter and Marvel, but then we're only staying about 40, 60-ish in terms of PB. So that's a big problem in terms of numbers.
And so why do you think, from the BB community, why do you think there's only 40 people or 50 people, like you said? Why do you think that turnout's not that big?
Well, we have to assume that BB is a popular game. So hundreds of copies sell, thousands of copies sell in the US, but we still only get 40 people at tournaments. And what's the problem? A lot of people don't take the game that seriously. People call it a dumbed down version of Guilty Gear. So a lot of Guilty Gear players won't pick it up. A lot of the top Guilty Gear players that I know in the United States did not play BB. Hellmonkey, Marlon Pie, SH, Latif, Frank the Tank, like those, Flash, Marn, those type of Guilty Gear players did not play BB. I don't even think I think Marn tried it for a little bit, but that's it. So it's like a lot of top players don't play the game, so a lot of people won't follow them to it. So a lot of people that just like anime just play BB, and the people that just like anime or just like playing, they're not going to come to a tournament. They don't know what it means to practice and be good and want competition. They're just going to stay in that play.
Yeah. There in Brazil, that we had some problem like that from GG players don't wanting to go to play BB.
Mm-hmm.
But from I think in 1 year and a half, most of the GG players started playing BB because they already a small game. GG is also a small game there in Brazil.
Yeah.
And BB has a little more people playing and it's online, so they accepted the game.
Yes.
Some kind. But there is some people out there that say BB sucks, GG rocks.
Oh yeah.
There is still some people like that. What I think is curious, like you said, Latif don't play, the Marnie don't play, because people say that's a dumbed down game. But for example, they play Street Fighter 4 and Marvel. That's most people also say that's like a dumbed down version of the previous games, and they still play it. So that's one thing that I still can understand.
In the US, money, payout, numbers. That's what matters. And if there's one thing that shows that the most, it's Evo game selection this year. You have Street Fighter 4 Marvel, the two biggest games in the US right now. Those are definitely going to be in. You have KOF, which is, KOF 12 sucked.
Yes.
And KOF 13 looks very promising. So I can understand why that got in. and then you also have, it was Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat was controversial in terms of people like, okay, that's how it all started. The BB community complaining was, why don't Mortal Kombat get in and not BB? Because there are some scenes where Mortal Kombat is dead, and I don't want to, you know, like offend Mortal Kombat players, but like Texas tried picking up the game, but they got almost no numbers. So people assume that it's dead there, and we still get good numbers on the East Coast, but it's only a little less than Mortal Kombat. And compared to where Mortal Kombat was, it slowly dwindled off from where it was at that 10 grand tournament. Remember that when it was first released?
Yeah.
So numbers slowly decreased. But BB, we get 60-40 entrants, and we always get 60-40 entrants. It's like people don't go, they don't come. We just get the same people over and over again. We're consistent, but we're low instead of big going low. So a lot of people skewed that in terms of, oh my god, Mortal Kombat, you suck, you know, your scene's dying, whatever, your game sucks. Look at BB, we still get the same numbers, but it's still less than you, so there's just like a huge battle there. And then, of course, Street Fighter Cross Tekken for obvious reasons, money, and it's the new game coming out, and
it's from Capcom.
And it's from Capcom, and it might actually end up being the biggest game out of Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Street Fighter, and Marvel.
And
so the big thing is money. It's payout, and that's what top players want. They want money, and who can blame them,
Yeah.
right?
You know, said about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it's something that I found curious because most people don't like it because of the gems, but then suddenly people start saying that they would play it and something like that. It's like it's Capcom factor, you know?
Yeah. So I'll be honest. At first, I thought the game was absolute shit. I thought it was going to be bad. I thought they were trying to do too many things differently, like the gem system. So when I looked at it, and you know how gaming companies do this, they have like a PC versus a PC, you know, like play one another, and it just looks like mashing scrubs. That doesn't show me the game.
Yeah.
Show me two people that know how to play the game and can do hype things, and I'll like it. So when I first watched it, all I saw was, you know, like mash. They're not showing me anything. But then as soon as Cross Assault came out and you gave people some time with it, or there was that finger cramp event with the, did you watch that?
No, I only watched Cross Assault.
Oh, okay, there was a finger cramp event where they had like a bracket. I think it was 16 players, maybe less, maybe 8. I forget. But anyway, they invited top players. They pretty much had an invitational. They gave them some time with the game, and then they made them play. And Chris G ended up doing some really hyped stuff that I found interesting. I'm like, oh, you know, maybe this game does have some potential. And then I learned more about the gem system and how it's not overpowered as some people thought.
Yeah, I think they didn't overpower because people were complaining a lot about that.
Maybe, and I don't think we'll ever know. But the thing is gems don't matter as much as we thought. The comeback factor, what's it called?
Pandora.
Yeah, Pandora, we haven't seen it used much, so I don't think we quite know how that's going to play into it. And then things don't look extremely broken yet. So it looks like they're getting some stuff right, and they're going to be pulling in a lot of new players. They're going to be pulling in a lot of anime players, and of course the Capcom community is going to follow it, so it might get a good following.
My only problem with the gem system now is that they pre-order gems. That I think that everyone should have the same gems, even a DLC later or something like that. And the fact that, you know, Capcom is not most famous about balance. Like one of the most things that I like in Marvel was the synergy team that you could create your own team. And then we like having Wolverine and Akuma and Phoenix. And then Ultimate Marvel came out and they had Wesker. So what's the point of having creativity and make a good team? So I only think that I'm worried about the gems. Like for example, if they find a godlike setup of gems and everything else becoming useless, that's not a problem.
Yeah, it's. I mean, in the case of Street Fighter 4, you had the developers come out and say, yeah, we made Yun and Yang good. Remember, they said that. They explicitly said that, yes, we made them good. We knew they were going to be good. In the terms of gems, I know they think they made good gems, but there's a lot more to the game that needs to be discovered, so I can't say something's going to go like that, where something's just going to be broken and everybody's going to run with it, or something's going to be really good and everybody's going to do it, like put Wesker on their team. I don't think we know yet. I think we know strong characters, like beginning strong characters like Ragnar and BB. It's like you can learn, you can pick up the game pretty fast and get rewarded for it. You can win. And Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I feel like there are going to be teams like that. But in terms of gem selection, it's going to be hard to say. Characters, yes. Gem selection, we don't know yet. And then we don't know what gems are going to be allowed in tournament, or how they're going to do the gem configuration. All these questions are just...
Yeah, I think they said that you have a USB configuration or something like that.
Yeah, too bad there's only 2 USB slots on a Slim.
Maybe you plug the USB, they save on the RAM your memory, and then you unplug and then you put your...
It just adds time, so I don't know. We don't know yet how that's going to work.
Yeah, we have to wait to see. So, now that you talk about Captain, let's go back to BlazBlue. What do you think that the community can? What do you think that we can do to solve the problem of having BlazBlue more people here and out and those things?
So, the main thing is we're never going to get the same numbers that Marvel and Street Fighter get. It's a fact. I won't deny it. They're always going to have a bigger following than Guilty Gear and BB or Melty Blood. You know, like the 3 anime games.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, for example, if it was only a low turnout, okay, but people start like not respecting those games.
Yes.
That's what he started worrying about.
That's what happens. So, if you read my post, one of my ideas was to get everyone to just go to one major. It doesn't have to be EVO, just one major. Just where everybody can come, all the top players go, maybe have a pop bonus, maybe fly in some Japanese players, just so that we have that one tournament. You know? Because right now, West Coast and East Coast are split, even with EVO. When EVO had BB, only Lord Knight showed up from East Coast. Everybody else was West Coast. So it's like, that was pretty much just a West Coast event with Lord Knight thrown in the mix, you know? And that's great, but I don't feel like that's really representing our community. So I'd rather get all the good players in North America. Maybe North America, yeah. All the good players in North America to just come to one tournament. So Canada, Mexico, US, just to all come to one tournament and just show that we can get plus 100 and fly in people and have a pop bonus and have access support on the event, just to show that we can do it. You know, this is a good game. Look at the high level play that's going on. You know, there's more to this game than just mashing scrubs online, you know. That's all. That was my one big idea, but I don't know if anything's going to come of that, but I feel like that could be an answer to showing the fighting game scene that our game doesn't suck. That's all.
I see. Yeah, like a nice idea to try to implement. So if it's gonna happen like in 2013 or the end of 2012, you can count on me to come. I will try my best to go if we have something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get it for NEC this coming year, but that's just my idea because A, I help run the tournament, and I know, okay, I shouldn't say I know I won't fuck it up, but I trust myself into not doing anything ridiculously stupid, and I'm confident that people would go to it because it does bring a good amount of players usually for anime games in terms of, you know, air dashing games. Like, it brings a lot of people in Melty Blood. It usually brings a lot of people in Guilty Gear. It can bring a lot of people in BB if they go. That's just like the East Coast hub for a tournament. This, I'd say, either being tied for it if you consider the Southeast Coast part of the East Coast. A lot of people forget about the South. They just think Northeast Coast.
And what about the thing is maybe sometime doing some screens on tournaments? Because like BlazBlue, how many screens we have in one majors last year? I can remember final round, so-called regionals, and EVO, but I I think it was the only one. Maybe if we had more screens and more things, people would think that it was a hype game, maybe.
Yeah, that's one thing the community is really trying to do right now, is just stream net play for the most part. They're trying to stream net play. James Shea is streaming his beginner mode stuff.
Yes, but thing is, when we have this net play and the same shape, most people that watch are already people from the BlazBlue community. Maybe putting on the major so people can see that, hey, it's a good game and those things. Like we had from BlazBlue Revolution last week. Most people, there was some people that was watching that he didn't play BlazBlue, and they said it was hype too.
Yes.
So maybe if he can do more of that, people will start seeing that, hey, it's a good game actually.
Streams usually depend on the venue more than the tournament. I think with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, we're going to be either forced completely out of streaming, or they're going to always have to have 2 streams at a tournament, because you're going to get complaints from the anime scene. You are going to get complaints about, you know, why can't I stream my event? You know, streams have become, it's sad, but streams have become like, you need it to make your event legit, or nobody really cares about your event. So NEC, we didn't get the stream. Only thing we put up were recordings. So, but that was a venue problem more than a tournament problem, because at the venue, you're getting your SF4 Malware stream, you're getting Spooky. Spooky was going to do that. But then we also had the Tekken room, which had Tekken, Soul Calibur 5, and every other 3D game. And they got their own room. Tekken Tag 2 tournament was there, and Soul Calibur 5, which was unreleased. So they were like, Jaxel said, let us stream it. And Biggie said, yeah, you know, they're sponsoring our tournament, stream it. They deserve it, you know? And KOF. Well, KOF got streamed on Spooky Stream, but it's like the anime games got kind of put to the side. I talked to Biggie about it. He said, yeah, I understand, but, you know, record your stuff. It's like, I can't give you a stream, but I respect him as a TO to tell me that, you know? So it's going to come down to how a tournament is run and the venue. And there's nothing really much we can do about it.
Maybe the top 8 or top 4 or something like that.
Even that is sometimes iffy, because in my post, I referenced Seasons Beatings 3 or 4 that we were, okay, Zynak, who was running the brackets, said that we weren't even supposed to be streamed, and that he talked them into letting us run the stream. So then we got stream time, but then we got kicked off. So you have stuff like that happen where, you know, oh guys, yeah, you can go stream. What are you streaming, top 6? Yeah, I think we have time for it. Go ahead. Oh, wait, this is taking too long. You know, we need to pull you off, and that's what happened. I think that's one of the only tournaments where that happened. I heard that happened at CEO, but not like that, where they were streaming BB and they were like, oh, no, you guys got to get off. It just didn't happen. CEO said, yeah, we'll stream your top 8, but then it didn't happen. But I didn't go to it, and I'm not going to speak bad about the tournament because I don't know what went on. At Seasons Beatings, I understand what went on, and I don't agree with it. So that's what happened, and it's
kind of a disrespect, because you were starting spring already, the top 6. They could at least let you finish, you know.
It's Seasons Beatings is a Marvel tournament, and they also had big events going on, and they wanted to make sure they got all those in. Everything else was secondary, and everybody knows that going into the tournament, and you know, you expect to be kind of pushed to the side, but I didn't expect to be kicked off the stream right before losers finals then grand finals, you know. So yeah, it sucks, and I'm gonna be mad about it forever. I'm gonna be an old man, and I'm gonna be like, Seasons Beatings, I'm never going to that tournament ever again. But that's just the way it is, you know. And if it's any hint from this past year where they didn't have BB as a main game, then there's no point to go to that tournament for BB anymore, honestly, if they're not going to include it as a main game. So people just kind of need to move on from that, myself included, and start supporting other majors. Go to NEC, go to CEO, go to final round, go to Japanese qualifying tournaments. You know,
actually that was what I did this year, because like I was saving money for Evo, but then they removed Blue.
Yes.
So I think I should go to not to a side game tournament, but to a tournament that support myself.
Yes.
And that is final round. I thought to myself, so I came to final round instead of going to Evo.
Oh, okay.
Because of that.
Okay.
I want to support a tournament that supports my game.
Well, as much as I'm an old man about the Evo decision too, it's something I have to get over, that they are trying to run the biggest gaming tournament on the planet. So they need the games with the biggest turnout, and that will bring the biggest hype. BB had a pretty piss poor showing when it was included. Even though I think they should take into account that we voted our own game out one year. I mean, that's speaking a lot in terms of how trustworthy the community is, in terms of how much we like our game. We will tell you straight up when we've moved on to another version, please don't have this version, wait until next year. And they did. But it's just one of those things where we want to be in Evo, you know, and we'll tell you when we don't want to be in Evo. So let us be in Evo when we want to be in Evo, you know. EX is a good version. It's getting better. It's not CT anymore. It's somewhat balanced. Some people might not like it, but it's getting more balanced. You know, the net play is getting better, so it might pull in more people. The level of play is getting higher with each iteration. At CT, you know, I'd say almost everybody was scrubby that played the game. But now that you have EX, you have good players from each region that could actually go to a big tournament and entertain the crowd. But we just need to show numbers before we're able to do that. And Axis needs to show support for the game, apparently. That was what Wizard said. He said, you know, we're getting money from all these other games, but from Axis we weren't getting a lot. But Axis was too busy supporting other majors outside of Evo. They kind of, I guess, blew all their money on smaller tournaments rather than Evo.
It's kind of sad because, like you said, you are convinced that really supports the game. You have like 40 people or 50 people, but the people that really likes the game. They're going to be playing like almost forever of their lives. They're going to be dying playing this game, and they don't have respect because they don't have a good turnout. Even though they love the game, they really support their game. It's like something that I think is really sad.
Yeah, but once again, you have to understand that what Evo is out to do, and I can hate them all day. I don't like their decision. I don't like their decision, especially when they're including a game that hasn't even been played by a majority of the community yet. It's like what happened with Mortal Kombat. It's like, oh yeah, and we're putting Mortal Kombat in Evo, and then everybody was like, nobody's played that game yet, you know? Like, how can you put it on the biggest competitive fighting game tournament in the world? And they did it. And it still got a good turnout, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I think did it get a bigger turnout than
I don't know.
BB? I'm not sure. I think
they get a bigger turnout because I heard that BB was the only game that didn't pass the 200 entries.
Okay, yeah. So
they had that.
Even though their game was out for a shorter amount of time, they still got more entrants.
Yeah.
But then again, you had Marvel and Street Fighter players playing that game, and you still don't have any playing BB. You still don't have any. Nobody will get near that game. Nobody will get near it that isn't already playing it, usually. So you need the people that are already playing the game to show up to a tournament, to get big numbers, to get in Evo. That's the way you have to do it. Nothing else is going to solve our problem other than tournament numbers.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's like that. So now that we talked about the American scene, I'm going to start talking about Brazilian scene. Like, we have let's start talking about the fighting game community out there in São Paulo. It's the place that I live. We had like big people playing Capcom games and Mortal Kombat and KOF. Actually, Brazil is very famous for KOF. We played. There is a lot of good players on 2002, but they had some kind of problem because these players, they stick on 2002 and they say that every other KOF sucks.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And then KOF kept letting him out. Some of these guys start playing, and other people, and mostly of them don't. So most of the players are basically new blood from
Okay.
KOF 13.
Yeah.
But basically, although in Brazil we have that problem that people only play the games that actually has a name. They have Street Fighter. Oh, I play Street Fighter since I was 5 years old, so I'm gonna play Street Fighter 4 or Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Marvel, same thing. Everyone knows who Marvel is. And Mortal Kombat is a game from Super Nintendo. Everyone knows that. And then you come to Blaze Blue, for example. It's a game that almost no one knows there. And it's a game that if you don't show them that it's good or it's a good game, or they play it and they think, oh, it's fine and something like that, you're not going to play it. And no matter how much you try to show them the videos or something like that. So I think it's kind of a problem that we have out there in Brazil, that I think people should be more open-minded with something like that. But I'm trying to solve that. I make some articles to post on Portugal, so like how to play Blaze Blue for new people, for people who already have experience fighting games, people who don't have it. Didn't work out that much. And I'm trying to, maybe if I get a good position, a good place here in final round, people will see that there is a Brazilian who wants to play that, so that may bring new people to the game, and I'm trying to do that. But yeah, it's stuff like that. Like I have 10 people who play that actively. Most people are online warriors, and we are trying to make the scene bigger there. But yeah, you know, I also had this problem that we have the biggest games like Capcom games, Mortal Kombat, which were actually really big in Brazil, King of Fighters and those things. But like when I said about the name there, when they announced Guilty Gear, a lot of people said they were going to play. And then there is some people who said, whoa, if there was that many people saying that they really like Guilty Gear, they still wouldn't have that diet. So it's like, because it's an old game, they say, oh, this game must be forgotten, like, because everyone say that it's good. And they are trying to do that, you know.
Yeah. It's tough to get numbers for anime games, and it always will be, and we're always going to be struggling. We're always going to be struggling unless there's some game that will actually bridge the gap that both anime games and anime games and Capcom games like, you know, and if anything, it's probably going to end up being a Capcom game that does that. It's not going to be Guilty Gear. It's not going to be Blaze Blue. It's not going to be Persona. It's not going to be Under Night Invert. It's going to be something like, sadly, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. As much as I hate to say it, it's going to be something that tries to attract every genre of fighting game by kind of
mixing them.
Yeah, mashing it together.
And that's what's something that was kind of disappointing, because you said that you didn't find some people who were playing high level. Actually, you know the DGS build was one of the very old game versions of Street Cross Tekken. They didn't even have games yet. There was some Korean people who were playing it, and that thing was like godlike. I saw that, I saw like momentum then, they make a good mix-ups, a lot of pressure, those things, and they had like godlike combos using the both characters at the same time. I said, no, whoa, this game is going to be the shit, it's going to be one of the best games. And then they changed the game so much that now, for example, the pressure is kind of limited, because you can't do, like, for example, a special attack if it's not the EX after a chain combo, like the low, medium, high, and then you do a special. You have to be a EX or a super or something like that.
Oh, okay.
You can't do a normal, so it's make the pressure a little worse and something like that. So that's the point that can kind of disappoint, because it was looking like an anime game, and then they changed to be more like Street Fighter or Tekken.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. There's just always going to be a split at there. As good as the game might be, or as good as the game might get, you're going to have people that want to play it. Like, you know, it looks good. It looks like it could be good, but then some people just won't play it because of that. For the same people don't play BB games. I've heard every excuse on the planet for people not playing BB games, from I think it needs another button. People have told me that. People have told me they don't like any of the characters, even though there are 19 fucking characters now. It's like, how can you not pick a character you'll like?
I always heard an excuse like that was a guy who said that he doesn't like that when you do a combo, between the hits there is a stop between the hits, and he didn't like that. It was like he lagging for him, and he said that's as an excuse to
So
not
he
playing.
didn't like the hit stop of the game,
Yes.
pretty much? Wow, that's,
It's kind of things that say, okay, but you don't play a game just because of that?
yeah,
Is that you ignore the whole game just because of that?
I don't know. It's tough to get people to like a fighting game. It's a very niche community, and people are very picky.
And that's another thing that's different, because like we are niche community, have like, and there are some people who only play one game, like only Street Fighter and Street Fighter. How can you like a niche genre and you can only play on one game? Something I don't say, because me myself, like I'm only going to play seriously here on when I'm around plays Blue and Marvel, because I'm learning, but I'm learning Soul Calibur, I'm learning KOF, I'm learning Melt Blood. I enter for Tekken 6 and for Tekken like just for fun, because I really like fighting games, I don't like only one game. It's just that R-Dash are the kind of games I like the most. But I like all kind of them, so that's why I can understand why people only play one game or one kind of games.
That's all personal. It varies from person to person. Some people will only play games because there's money in it. Some people actually have love for a game and keep playing it, like some Guilty Gear players in the US and like some KOF players in Brazil. They'll just be like, I love this game. I don't care what other version comes out of the game, I will play it. So they will play it, they will be picky about every other version after it, and then just end up not playing it because A, they're scared to move on, and they're afraid to admit that, yeah, it's an alright game, I'll play it, or B, they just really, really love that version of the game, and they just don't want to let go. And can you hate someone for that?
Yeah.
Really? It's like they're gonna play what they love. So I can't hate them for it. I'll talk shit, you know. I'll talk shit on the side. I'll just be like, oh, you know, you won't play this game because it's too hard or something, you know, or call them out on it. But in the end, it's like you choose to play what games you want to play. I can't hold it against you, you know.
Something like that. So just to end all this discussion, maybe so we have the problem, but we need to think about how to solve it. So I think the most important thing is to hype up the game and try to make a big major. And then Brazil, I'm trying to make more tournaments for that, and I'm trying to bring more communities. Because like for example, there was a time that we had two websites there, Portal Versus and Hit Confirm. Hit Confirm works with Guilty Gear, plays Blue and Third Strike. And Portal Versus with general fighting game beginners, but they are most focused on Capcom and not more Mortal Kombat. And when Blue Fighter came out, it was kind of a clutch because Street Fighter players don't, they best play Blue out there, even with CT. And then they didn't like that, and they unite, and they have the Guilty Gear Brazil and First Strike Brazil, they unite to have complete confirm and say screw Versus. I'm trying to unite them again because like we are small there, like our biggest Street Fighter tournament, that's the most famous game, most popular game, had only 128 people. Our biggest, it's not even close to what numbers have the majors here. So I say if we unite all the games, we put our different aside from forgotten the word in English. Different I think it's different aside, and we unite to make one tournament, which plays Blue and King of Fighters and Marvel and Street Fighter and something like that. We can unite to make a big thing, and we can bring more people to play Blue. Maybe they watch the people playing and they say, oh, can I try it out? And they think, oh, it's a cool game, and they go and buy it. It can happen something like that. Because most people in Brazil, some people they don't have a prejudice about being anime or something like that. Most people don't even know what Weeaboo means out there in Brazil. So I think if they start playing more on events, maybe you start liking it and starting playing. But we have to check it out. And here in US is more to hype up the tournament and show that it's a good game, that they have high level players here.
Yeah, I'd really like for good already good fighting game players to play BB, but that's really hard to do because if they're not playing it by now, then they're probably never going to play it. It's just reality at this point. And with Street Fighter Cross Tekken coming out, Marvel already out, Street Fighter already, you have 3 high-paying games at this point. You're going to have 3 high-paying games. Why are they going to play BB? There's no point. So
And Guilty Gear coming out.
Yeah, and GG's gonna come out, and I think that's gonna spark for a little while, and it could stay strong if we try, but it's probably gonna dwindle again. But I'm not sure. You need numbers to pull in really good players. And then there's another thing, like what you were saying with trying to combine the communities, just like everybody stop being so fucking biased and just come together and have a good time. I'm the person that wants that the most out of probably anyone in the fighting game community. I'll say that right now. I'm the person that wants that the most, because you could give me any game, and I'll make it hype. I will think it's a good game, no matter how shitty it is. I don't care. It could be entertaining. Fighting games are entertaining. When two guys are playing one another, it's entertaining. Street Fighter is really entertaining at high level. It's very tense. You can count the errors in it. When some guy fucks up, he fucks up, you lose. You lose, you know? So it's like you're just sitting there like both guys, a little bit of health, and they're just standing there, and then they both just make a decision and someone wins. That's fucking hype, you know? And Marvel, some dumb retarded shit mix-up that you can't block happens, and everybody gets hyped. It's great.
Or X Factor.
Or X Factor. Oh my god, it's just like, you just love seeing people get beat and get salty. It's like, they made so many good decisions and they were winning, and they got the guy down to a pixel of health, and then he just popped X Factor and ran it back in 2 seconds. That's hype. That's fun to watch, you know? And then you have KOF. You have high execution shit. You have lots of knowledge in the game. You have just solid play in KOF that you can get hype about. You have really good runbacks. You know, it can be a hype game. The same thing goes for every game. It can be hype, as long as the community makes it hype. You know, and that you can just accept any fighting game and think it's hype. And that's me. I can think any fighting game is hype. I'll talk shit about the game all day, but if you sat me in a room with players that just play that game and that hate BB, I'll fucking love the game they're playing. I don't care, as long as they make it entertaining. And I feel like BB's entertaining for the most part. It can be very boring, but any fighting game can be boring, you know? So it would be nice if everybody just put aside, like, oh, you play some weeaboo anime game, you know, go away, let me play my Street Fighter.
Actually, I was playing like Multi-Blood today near the entrance of the final round, and there was some guys who came to tell that in real life. They came to them, to us, and said he is a real weeaboo game. I don't know if they knew that the opponent was just joking, but actually, for this not only the internet, they had this prejudice even in real life. They come to the guy and say that he is a weeaboo game, it's a shitty game. Said like, what the fuck?
It might have been a joke. You would have to like show the people to me, and I can tell you if they were joking or not. I know like a lot of people in the Multi-Blood community, and they're very troll. They will troll one another. All I do, I stay in the Multi-Blood channel in IRC just to fucking troll them. Like, I'll play the game, but it's just fun to troll. So I'll go in and be like, ah, you fucking weeaboo scrubs, you know, like, go take your hug pillows and, you know, go play in your smelly corner of the room or something. But it's like, I'm friends with all of them. I'll talk shit to them all day. So it might have been somebody like that, but I don't know.
And then you said about the hype, that every game can be hype.
Every game can be hype, yes.
So, like, for example, I think we can make a list of something like it makes playable hype, so that people can look forward when you have a tournament or something like that. Maybe you can do something like that. Or
it's hard to do. That's up to the players, because if you look at BBR, I'd say that the only thing that made the matches hype was when you get a low tier character just beating people, you know, and you're just like, yeah, you know, like, this guy can do it, he can fucking OCD this team, and they come down and they play well, but then they get beat, or it comes down to the last 2 players, you know, like, that's always hype because it's tense, and then it comes down to the last round and you're just like, who the fuck's gonna win, you know? And then but that's the only thing that really made BBR hype for me, was when it was really close. There was only one time the whole tournament when I got actually hyped for something that happened in a match, and it was Spark versus LK in the single elim tournament, when LK did some mix-up that nobody knew about except for himself and a couple Japanese players. That's it. So only like 10 people knew about this mix-up in the world, maybe. I don't know.
And Lord Knight blocked it or no?
No, Lord Knight didn't. Spark did not block it, and it was hype as shit. And LK won, and then he got a stick for it. It was the last match. It was hype. I got up, and I was screaming at the top of my lungs like, fuck yes! Like, it was just hype when somebody lands a mix-up like that, and he did it. And he did it at a crucial moment in a crucial match that decided everything. That's hype. And sometimes, for the most part, that doesn't happen in BB in America. It rarely ever happens. It's usually a train wreck, or it's not impressive. Rarely ever does stuff like that. But if you watch Japanese matches, it's very tense. It's a totally different game over there than it is over here. So it's easy to make BB hype, but at the same time, it's hard to. Because I can make it hype because I'm loud and obnoxious, and I'll just yell shit at people while playing. But in terms of just like gameplay, if you were to make a Street Fighter player watch it, it would be hard for them to get hyped for it compared to other games.
So like for example, now that you said that, there was something that you make me hype on BlazBlue Revolution, that I think only people who really knows how BlazBlue works that you would understand, is what they come back that James Shea did, I think was on against Cooper David, I'm not sure now. That he was like it's only a small like bar remaining, and then he even I think Core said he probably was going to lose and he didn't have any chance to do that, and he made the comeback.
Yeah.
I was just looking that he was instant blocking a lot. He was instant defending, and he was getting barred, and said I think he still gets instant defense. At the first moment that Cooper David make a mistake, he's gonna make a comeback. And I think about that, and then I saw him doing that, and then I saw Zenshi doing the comeback, but it wasn't a comeback because, you know, it was a comeback factor that he put on the game, because he had a really good execution, he had a really good reading because he blocked all the mix-ups, and it's something that only if you really play BlazBlue and you're gonna notice and make you think hypes.
Yeah, there are definitely moments like that in BB. I was zoned out at that part of the tournament. I was just watching it to see who won. But yeah, Shea did have that run back. I remember that. And then you had the Biter who had that OCV. Yeah. You know, he had that, like no offense to the Biter, but he wasn't impressing me the whole tournament. I felt like he was being carried by Shea and Spark, easily, just being carried. And then it was pretty much up to him to make sure that Dacid, Copper Dabbit, and Wall Jumpman did not win, and he fucking did it. When it mattered the most, like that was hype. I remember like standing right there, and I was like banging on the coin machine, like fuck yes, you reached out the brackets, good shit. And then they had to play again, and then they lost. But like yeah, that was very hype. That was a very hype moment when shit like that happens, where it's like runbacks or somebody OCVs when it matters. That's great. Just hard to do. It's just hard to do. It's hard to have those. It's hard to have that atmosphere in BB. I think it's easier to get in other games. The hype comes easier in other games than it does in BB, and I think that kind of works against us.
I think that's more fun to play than to watch, maybe.
That's personal. I can't judge people for that. Maybe they like Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, but I mean, even when BlazBlue play, you think that it's more fun for people to play it instead of watching, or even with people who does like the game or something like that. Okay. More like that.
Yeah. You would have to watch someone like Giuna play to get hyped, just like constant hype for the game. Like if you watch his streams, he goes on net play with Ragna, his character, and he just does like the trollest, dumbest shit, and he's like commentating while he's doing it. So he's like, all right, ready for the reset, guys? Ready for the reset? And then he'll end with DP ender, and then when they neutral attack, he'll run under 2A and then do overhead, and then he'll do like 5C, 5DD, run up, and then do like super that makes him invul, and they'll fucking burst, and I'll be like, I knew you were gonna do that, you fucking scrub, and then he'll punish them for it, and that shit's just hype. But you don't get that enough in American play. It's up to the players to make the game hype, and that's what it's gonna come down to in BB. To make people want to play it, to make people want to come to tournaments, you're gonna have to make the game hype, and you're gonna have to make people want to come to the tournaments. That's it. That's how you're gonna solve the problem. Can we do it?
just up to us.
It's up to us. It's up to the community, and it starts with trying to get net players to come out, and it's going to end with us trying to make one big tournament. I think that's what's going to happen.
So yeah, I think that's right. You want to say something else? Or?
I don't know. Pretty much said everything I think I probably want to say. If you're watching this and you're not that competitive about BB and you don't really care a whole lot, I can't hold it against you. But you should go to at least one major. Just one. Just give it a shot. And if you're not impressed and you don't want to compete in it and you're not that worried about getting better, then whatever. Stay net play, have fun with the game, whatever. But if you go to a tournament and it makes you want to get better, that's good. Keep traveling, keep playing people, and keep getting better. Don't give up. I think that's another problem with the scene today is people will get beat very fast and get discouraged and they won't play anymore. Back when I played Guilty Gear, the first fighting game I ever played, I was playing against people that were way better than me. Way better than me. And I would just get bodied. I'd win maybe one game out of every 50. That's terrible. I was a fucking scrub. But I kept playing because I wanted to get better. I wanted to beat people. You know? So I would travel and I'd play new people and I'd run tournaments and I'd meet new people and I'd play those people and I'd get better. And it took me a really long time to get where I am today, even though I still haven't placed any major. But I'd still say I'm not ass at the game. But it just took me a while to get there. And I think people are just expecting immediate results. You need to not expect immediate results. You need to travel, you need to play, you need to get better. You need to play people in person. Net play is great, but at least give a tournament a try, just once. Be like Star Demon. Do you know?
Yeah,
so
I heard about
he went to a Team st1ckBuG tournament. And I don't know if he's going to go into another one. And I don't know if he liked it or not. I don't know. But he went to a tournament. And I fucking respect him for that. If there's one thing that makes me hype at a tournament is when I'm running it and somebody comes up and shakes my hand and says, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. This is my first tournament." And I'm just like, fuck yes. Like, you came out, you know, you want to show people, you know, I want to get better, or I want to try, or I want to win, I want to place. Like, that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the community when you come out and actually make an effort. And that's what's going to make your game great, is you, by coming out to tournaments. You can stay in net play all you want, but you need to come out and you need to make an effort, right?
Yeah, right. So, thank you very much for
Yeah.
this interview and discussion.
Yeah.
And let's get hype for tomorrow.
Yes. Vamos play. Play.
So, foi isso aí. Valeu, pessoal. Pessoal, é isso aí. Falou, pessoal do Portal Verso. Até mais.